Let's Make the Change, Protect the Environment conference was held on June 4, 2009, as part of the Environment Expo 2009 at the World Trade Center, Veracruz, in Veracruz, Mexico. The seminar was broadcast live by top radio station Los 40 Principales at 101.7 FM, reaching nearly 5 million listeners, as well as via Supreme Master Television. Mr. Alonso Dominguez Ferrayas, Veracruz State's General Coordinator of Environment, Social Development, and Environment Bureau, was the featured guest speaker at the conference. Supreme Master Ching Hai was formally invited by the government of Veracruz State to attend as the guest of honor. Unfortunately, due to her busy schedule, she was unable to participate in person. However, Supreme Master Ching Hai graciously shared her insights on climate change through a video message in which she emphasized the urgency of the situation while offering the most effective solution, the plant-based diet. We now invite you to join us for the rebroadcast of the live seminar with Supreme Master Ching Hai entitled Let's Make the Change, Protect the Environment, held on June 4, 2009 in Veracruz, Mexico.
Enough with problem, but we have solutions to this problem. It might not be that early, but it's still not too late. We still can rescue our home, planet home. Okay, number one solution is vegan, organic vegan. Veganism will save our world. I will report to you one by one how vegan would save our world. Luckily, there are easy actions we can take. I will list them for your reference. Now, many of these areas where we are seeing such devastating effects of climate change, such as Arctic melt, land sinking, water shortage from glacier melt, and even storms increasing, are all directly related to the Earth's temperature increasing. So we must cool the planet, first and foremost. And the best way to stop global warming is to stop producing the greenhouse gases that create the heat. Logical, no? Yes. We already know about the efforts to reduce emissions, such as from industry and transportation. But changes in these sectors are taking too much time, more than we can afford at this rate, at this hour. One of the most effective and fastest way to reduce the heat in the atmosphere is to eliminate methane production. Methane not only traps up to 72 times more heat than carbon, it also goes away from the atmosphere much faster than CO2. So if we stop producing methane, the atmosphere will cool more quickly than if we stop producing carbon dioxide. See what I mean? Organic vegan will produce beneficial cooling effects as it will cut down methane and other greenhouse gases which are fatal to our survival. We We can start by cutting down on the biggest methane producer in the world. That is animal raising. So, to cool the planet most quickly, we have to stop consuming meat in order to stop the livestock raising industry, and thus stop greenhouse gases, methane, and other toxic gases from animal industry. If everyone in the world would adopt this simple but most powerful practice of an animal-free diet, then we could reverse the effect of global warming in no time. We would then have time to actually be able to adopt longer-term measures such as more green technology, to also remove the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. In fact, if we neglect to stop meat production, either all these green efforts will be cancelled out in effect, or we might lose the planet before we even having a chance to install any green technology such as the wind power or solar power, or more hybrid cars for that reason. Please also keep in mind that although livestock has been reported to generate 18% of global greenhouse gas emissions, which is more than the world's transportation sectors combined, this is actually an underestimate, because recently revised calculations have placed it at generating possibly more than 50% of total global emission. I repeat, livestock has been recalculated as to generate possibly more than 50% of total global emissions. More than 50% is from livestock industry. So that was the number one solution. Now, number two, eliminating other gases. Besides methane, other lethal toxic gases are emitted by the livestock industry as well. It is the largest source at 65% global nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas with approximately 300 times the warming potential of CO2. It emits also 64% of all ammonia, which causes acid rain, and hydrogen sulfide, a fatal gas. So to stop livestock production is to eliminate all these deadly gases as well as methane. Number 3, halting dead zones. There are other huge benefits gained by halting livestock production. Oceanic dead zones, for example, are caused primarily by fertilizer runoff for agriculture that is mainly used for animal feed. Dead zones are a serious threat to the ocean's ecosystems, but they can be revived if we stop polluting them with our livestock-related activities. Stop fishing, too. Then marine life will rebound. Since the heavy fishing that caused the sardines to disappear from the coast of Namibia, eruptions of harmful gases have created a dead zone that is destroying the area's ecosystems due to the absence of that one humble but eco-beneficial powerful species. Can you imagine? Just the sardines. So we have to stop fishing, as well as all animal products, to protect our living ocean and water bodies, which is crucial to our survival. You know it. Now, number 4, we have to stop desertification. We can. Desertification is another climate change effect that is linked to livestock. Again, for example, in Mexico, recent research stated that 47% of your country had already taken the toll of desertification, have become desert, due to damage from the cattle industry, you see. And another 50 to 70% of the country of Mexico also suffering from some degree of drought. Overgrazing by livestock, which occupies nearly a third of our Earth's land surface worldwide, is a major cause of desertification and other damages, and is responsible for more than 50% of land erosion. Now we must stop livestock grazing to protect our soil and protect our life. Number 5, we can stop water shortage. While droughts are plaguing more populations, we cannot afford to waste water. Meat production uses massive amounts of water, as you know. It takes up to 1,200 gallons of fresh and good, clean water to produce just one serving of beef. In contrast, a full vegan meal costs only 98 gallons of water. That is like 90+% less. So, if we want to stop water shortage and to preserve precious water, we have to stop animal products. Now, 6, we can stop deforestation. We have to ban deforestation, and we have to plant more trees, of course. Wherever there's erosion or empty land, we have to plant trees. Okay. Now, deforestation is also largely driven by meat production, with the United Nations estimating that deforestation accounts for approximately 20% of all greenhouse gas emissions. Nearly all deforestation itself is related to meat production. 80% of clear Amazon forest is designated as a cattle grazing area to prepare the animals for slaughter, and the remainder is planted as soy crops, used also largely for animal feed. So, to stop animal product is to protect our precious forest, the lung of our earth, and the crucial factor for our survival. Now, 7, we have to alleviate financial cost. See, our leaders are worried about the cost of mitigating climate change. However, the good news is, if the world shifted to a reduced meatless diet, animal-free diet, then we could reduce the cost by half or more. That means we will reduce tens of trillions of US dollars. If the world shifted to vegan diet, we could save more than 80% of the cost, or approximately 32 trillion US dollars. Number 8. We must minimize health costs. The health risks of eating meat are more and more evident these days. Livestock are routinely given excessive hormones and antibiotics, which then, when consumed as meat, can in turn endanger human health. There are also toxic byproducts in slaughter places such as ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. These poisonous substances have caused deaths among workers due to their extreme toxicity. As a so-called food, meat is simply one of the most unhealthy, poisonous, unhygienic items that could ever be ingested by humans. We should never eat meat at all if we love and cherish our health and our life. We will live longer without meat, healthier, wiser without meat. Meat has been scientifically shown to cause all kinds of cancers, also heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, and obesity. The list goes on and on and on. All these diseases kill millions of people. Every year, millions of people die due to meat-related diseases, and making millions others seriously sick and disabled as well. There's no end to tragedies which caused by meat diet. Meat eating is a no-no. We should know this by now through all the scientific and medical evidence. Please stop eating meat, just even for your health's sake. You want to live long for your children and your grandchildren and live healthily. We did not even mention the filthy condition, the confined environments where the animals are kept until their slaughter, which promote the transmission of diseases such as the swine flu virus. In fact, some meat-transmitted diseases like the human form of mad cow disease are tragically fatal in every case. Whoever contracts mad cow disease are doomed to die, sadly and sorrowfully. Other contaminants such as E. coli, salmonella, etc., can also cause serious health problems, long-term damages, sometimes even leading to death. In short, simply saying no to meat will make us richer, healthier, and most importantly, it will make us a wiser person and a great hero, because it is the only timely way that will ensure the survival of our children and grandchildren. To conclude my report, respected, honorable, wise, beloved, esteemed audience members. We now can see how imperative it is to stop the warming of the planet with the greenness of all green policies and actions. The most compassionate, the most heroic, the most life-saving action, that is, the vegan diet. Organic vegan, to be exact, is better for your health as well. It is the long-term insurance against climate change. We must be the solution and encourage others with all the convincing and supporting scientific, physical, and moral data that is available to us, so they do the same. Adopting a plant-based diet can halt as much as 80% of global warming, eradicate world hunger, stop war, promote peace, and it will free up the Earth's water as well as many other precious resources, offering a lifeline for the planet and for humanity. In short, it will very quickly halt many of the global problems facing us right now. Therefore, it is vital that we change our lifestyle. It's very easy to do it. Setting a noble example for others to follow, and do our part to bring to the public's attention the urgent climate change issues and its solutions. The foremost being vegan diet, the vegan diet, to safeguard our precious planet. It is time to walk the talk because there is not much time left now. In coming here today, it is quite clear that all of you already know that the issues at hand are very urgent and need to resolve immediately. Thank you, all statespersons, media members, speakers, conference participants, ladies and gentlemen, for all your time and care in coming here today. And thank you all noble persons involved in organizing this awakening event. I truly appreciate the sincerity and willingness to join with those who share the same goal, for taking initiatives to inform the public, and for wanting to implement prompt actions. Together, we can usher in a new golden era where we can all live the noble qualities of love, compassion, and benevolence as was intended. Live up to the principles of nonviolence and forgiveness. Exemplifying the human standard of virtuous living, righteous living, and live a more sustainable life in peace, joy, and harmony with each other, with all our co-inhabitants, humans, animals, plants, trees alike. I am quite sure that this conference will contribute greatly to the worldwide efforts of all nations to save our planet. My most heartfelt gratitude to all who took part in making this a reality. May heaven bless you, your loved ones, and your countries. And may all your noble endeavors be graced with glorious success. Now, Due to my travel, regrettably it's not feasible to reply to your questions. But should you have any, I will be glad to reply to the best of my knowledge on a later date on Supreme Master Television, or you can log on to the internet, suprememastertv.com, to get the required answer to your questions. God bless us all. God loves us all. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for everything you do for the planet.
European Parliament supports reducing meat to lower greenhouse gases.
Roll call vote. Vote is now open.
Reduce your meat consumption or stop eating meat totally.
During discussions on greenhouse gas reduction goals, the Climate Committee of the European Parliament officially recognized livestock's contribution to global warming and recommended a reduction of subsidies to the livestock industry to curb methane.
The European Parliament has adopted its own position on climate change as an institution. And as a Vice President, one of the proposals I have made is in line with your own, which is that we should eat far less meat, because that's one of the major sources of greenhouse gases.
Please eat less meat, and let's make taxes on meat. That's definitely one of the issues we're talking about. I'd like to tell people what the cost is of eating meat for the environment worldwide.
My name is Jens Holm. I'm a member of the European Parliament. Please, be veg, go green, save the planet.
Gracias por todo el trabajo que realiza incansablemente, Maestra Suprema Chinhai, para elevar la conciencia de toda la humanidad. Su ejemplo desinteresado nos inspira a todos nosotros a ser mejores personas y a trabajar más para ayudar a nuestros hermanos humanos, animales y el planeta por igual. Muchas gracias. El tema del calentamiento global no es un tema aislado. Se relaciona íntimamente con nuestra salud, nuestra calidad de vida, nuestro presente y nuestro futuro. Es por eso que científicos, políticos y organizaciones están dedicando sus esfuerzos para mitigar sus efectos y mayores desastres a nivel mundial. Acto seguido, proyectaremos importantes mensajes de diferentes líderes mundiales.
The hour is late. It's time to decide. I'm quite confident that you will make choice wisely. In addressing global warming issues, the scientists have made it quite clear.
Climate change as a self-inflicted wound, if you like,
can wipe out the very meager assets.
We have a climate crisis that is a planetary emergency.
We are so close to the red line that perhaps we may wake up tomorrow and find that there's nothing to save after all.
We have reached a point where we have a real emergency.
The message should be clear. Climate change must take its place along those threats like conflict, poverty.
Climate change is responsible for conflicts that can only deepen in the future if we don't act as soon as possible.
It's the only thing that I believe has the power to fundamentally end the march of civilization as we know it.
You will have a catastrophe added to another catastrophe.
Climate change means catastrophically violent weather.
Like wildfires and devastation.
Rising sea levels.
Rising food prices.
To the spread of disease.
If the future of the world depended on me, what would I do?
The North Polar ice cap is melting so fast. But what seems to me to be important is that some of the effects we are witnessing now are happening twice as fast as scientists were predicting just 5 years ago.
A report issued earlier this year by the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change concluded both that global temperatures are rising, that this is caused largely by human activities.
And if you look at the fourth assessment report of the IPCC, we've assessed several stabilization scenarios.
In 2010, there could already be as many as 50 million environmentally displaced persons due to climate change, desertification, and deforestation.
Experts tell us that the situation underlying the crisis is not a temporary one.
And it's getting more and more difficult every day.
And there's no guarantee that human civilization can survive.
The doomsday clock of climate change is ticking ever faster towards midnight. We are simply not reacting quickly enough.
Do we need to move faster to answer the question? Yes, we do, because we have less time than we thought we had.
So climate change is obviously going to have a major negative impact.
The scale and the pace of environmental change at the beginning of the 21st century are a serious wake-up call to us as human beings on this planet.
We know without a doubt that global warming is a reality, and the question today is not is it happening and not is it bad, but what are we going to do about it?
We are all part of the problem of global warming. Let us all be part of the solution.
The challenge you face is to prove to people that you are serious about adaptation to the unavoidable.
Meat production and consumption is hugely intensive in terms of carbon dioxide emissions.
More than all cars, trucks and ships added together.
Unless we change our food choices, nothing else matters, because it is meat that is destroying most of our forests. It's meat that pollutes the waters. It is meat that is creating disease, which leads to all our money being diverted to hospitals. So it's the first choice for anybody who wants to save the earth.
The food we eat and how it's grown and the kind of food we eat matters a lot.
Everything comes with an environmental price. Beef production in particular.
We consume far too much meat in this world.
Because there's where the climate problem is, our meat consumption.
Something that's harmful even for human health.
我们今天要减少二氧化碳的排放啊。我们素食的方式绝对是非常有效的一个方式。
I do eat a lot of vegetarian meals. I think that's something we can all do.
That's one of the easiest ways that we can make an immediate and quite substantial impact.
There are some wonderful environmental benefits in terms of, taking a couple of steps lower down the food chain.
And the choice we face is a really simple one, actually.
Just for one day or more than that, become a vegetarian.
Let us approach climate change not simply as a looming future threat, but as a present opportunity to work together.
The time for action is now.
What can the government do to help? What can you do to help? How can we do this together?
And it's about what we do from this point on. and this point forward.
Individuals can take action.
We have to play our part.
And as individuals, through the choices we make, the purchases we make.
If we once understand this and take the necessary actions, then we actually have a much better situation.
Then if you eat less meat, you will be healthier and so would the planet.
Then there's some kind of realization of individual responsibility to take care of this planet.
Our generation has inherited an incredibly beautiful world, and it's really in our hands whether our children inherit the same world.
That is our duty, so that our children can have a decent quality of life on this planet.
We cannot be anything less than courageous and revolutionary in our approach to tackling climate change.
It's a win-win situation if you eat less meat.
Living in harmony with the natural world is the only way for the future. 6 billion people, one planet, one chance to get it right.
Be veg, go green, and save our planet.
For more urgent details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/SOS.
Nuestro agradecimiento a los líderes mundiales por su preocupación y dedicados esfuerzos para despertar la conciencia de la humanidad y salvar al mundo. Es el momento de presentar a nuestro orador invitado, el distinguido señor Alonso Domínguez Ferráez, coordinador general del Medio Ambiente del SEDESMA, Gobierno de Veracruz. Démosle la bienvenida con un gran aplauso.
Jóvenes, buenas tardes a todos ustedes, amigos de la prensa, comunidad ambientalista. Primero que todo, deseo enviar el siguiente mensaje. Master Xinhai, we are glad to meet you by this technology, and we expect to have you join us in a short time here in Veracruz. I wanted to take your cooperation with our government to work very close to preserve our environment. Sin duda, el estar aquí escuchando esta videoconferencia nos enriquece el espíritu y nos compromete a trabajar en la parte humana, que es la que sensibiliza la labor de lo que hacemos las autoridades, pero sobre todo lo que hace el ser humano y se compromete con el medio ambiente. Nosotros estamos convencidos, y el día de ayer me entrevistaban esta asociación importante y nos decía que qué se podía hacer para lograr la conciencia y tener un mejor medio ambiente. Yo afirmaba que los hábitos de consumo hoy en día son importantes para nuestra vida. No hay medio ambiente sano si no hay salud, si no hay conciencia de que nosotros como seres humanos debemos comer bien, hacer ejercicio, dormir bien, estar activos. Yo quiero reconocer a la maestra suprema Xinhai, Asociación Internacional, a la maestra suprema Xinhai, a su representante, por participar con nosotros en la Expo Ambiente. A la maestra decirle que los líderes de excelencia los requiere el mundo, pero también Dios los reclama. A invitarla a seguir colaborando con el gobierno del Estado en toda esta estrategia en favor de la preservación de nuestros ecosistemas, de nuestro medio ambiente. Comentarles y comentarle a ella que Veracruz es pionero en las estrategias de cambio climático. Con la aportación del gobierno de Inglaterra, logramos ser el primer estado que tiene una estrategia sobre cambio climático. Todas las políticas públicas de diferentes secretarías del estado de Veracruz tienen tareas asignadas y deseábamos ponerlas en una sola estrategia. Se ha sometido a consulta pública esta estrategia de cambio climático y ha arrojado excelentes resultados de participación social. Consideramos que el cambio climático es ya parte no solamente del discurso, sino de acciones concretas y más en el estado de Veracruz, con todos los kilómetros de litorales que tiene, que hay que preservarlos, nuestras costas en Veracruz. Veracruz y el gobierno del licenciado Fidel Herrera Beltrán ha implementado diferentes estrategias en diferentes temas: el ordenamiento ecológico, la protección de los ecosistemas a través del decreto y la certificación de áreas naturales protegidas y el manejo de los residuos sólidos. Pero hay una parte que es fundamental y que hoy en día la debemos resaltar, que es la participación de la sociedad. Por eso es que en estos foros, hoy en la Expo Ambiente, resaltamos el hecho de que no nada más los jóvenes, sino el público en general participe. Solo con una sociedad participativa, utilizando el ejemplo de la maestra Xinhai como un miembro distinguido de la sociedad, se pueden hacer importantes cosas, desde dejar claro la visión que tiene la sociedad y el compromiso con el medio ambiente. Yo por eso invito a seguir participando, a seguir escuchando, a utilizar los foros que se tienen abiertos para que nosotros, los funcionarios públicos, los que representamos a las dependencias de gobiernos estatales o federales, tengamos una mejor actitud, sobre todo de escuchar lo que la gente quiere, lo que la gente reclama en pro del medio ambiente. Nuevamente agradezco la participación de todo el equipo de la maestra suprema Xinhai y dejamos en la mesa el compromiso de seguir trabajando, de utilizar la tecnología de la videoconferencia para poder llevar estas pláticas a todo el estado de Veracruz. Muchísimas gracias por su participación.
Sin duda, fue un gran discurso. Agradecemos el apoyo que nos han brindado y estábamos también muy agradecidos por los esfuerzos que están ejerciendo, especialmente el gobierno de Veracruz, para mitigar el cambio climático. Muchas gracias. Después de haber vivido aquí en México las peores sequías registradas en los últimos años y tremendas inundaciones, no es de extrañarse que de estos hechos surgiera una nueva clase de refugiados, los refugiados climáticos. Compartamos la próxima presentación sobre las islas sumergidas que ilustra esta situación y el destino de las víctimas.
As the climate continues to warm, entire islands are sinking below rising waters caused from melting glaciers.
Indeed, there are many island nations who are doomed already now, condemned, if you want, to disappear. Therefore, there is no question that we have to act, and that is just the beginning of the visible impact of climate change. The invisible part, the bits that we have not necessarily understood that are happening around us, are also underway.
We have whole communities having to be relocated, villages which have been there over the decades, maybe a century. And now they have to be relocated, and where they have been living over the last few decades is no longer there, it's being eroded.
There are at least 18 islands submerged around the world. Lohachara, India, 10,000 residents affected. Bedford, Kavaskadi, Suparabanga Islands near India, 6,000 families affected. Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, USA, 13 islands. Kiribati, 3 atolls. Half of Bangladesh's Bola Island permanently flooded, 500,000 people affected. 7 islands in Manus, a province of Papua New Guinea.
It's not their wish to go, but because the situation is forcing them to move.
The following are islands sinking or at risk from rising sea levels. Carteret Islands in Papua New Guinea, 2,500 residents whose land no longer supports agriculture. Tuvalu, 12,000 residents with no more fresh drinking water, and vegetable plots have washed away. Goramara, near India, 2/3 submerged as of 2006, with 7,000 residents already relocated. Neighboring island of Sagar, 250,000 residents also threatened. Some 50 other islands jeopardized in the India-Bangladesh Sundarbans with a population of 2 million. Kutubdia in southeastern Bangladesh lost over 200,000 residents, with remaining 150,000 likely soon to depart. Maldives, 369,000 residents whose president wants to relocate the entire country. Marshall Islands, 60,000 residents. Kiribati, 107,800 residents, approximately 30 islands submerging. Tonga, 116,900 residents. Vanuatu, 212,000 residents, some of who have already been evacuated and coastal villages relocated. Solomon Islands, 566,800 residents. Shishmaref in Alaska, USA, 600 residents. Kivalini in Alaska, USA, 400 residents. Over 2,000 other islands in Indonesia. Dubai, 1.2 million residents in the United Arab Emirates considered at risk. Cook Islands, 19,500 residents. Takulou, a multi-island territory of New Zealand, 1,400 residents. Federated States of Micronesia, 108,000 residents. Manus, an island group of Papua New Guinea, 50,000 residents. Paku, autonomous region of Papua New Guinea, 600 residents. There may be more islands, either uninhabited and or not reported, that are submerged or are sinking due to climate change.
We may be at the point of no return. Our small low-lying islands will be submerged. It's an issue of human survival. If the world community, the different countries don't kick the carbon habit, there will be other countries next on the line.
According to the scientists, there could be more than just one disaster. Rising sea level is not the only worrying event. Disease will also rise. They already do so in some parts of the world. Change to a more benevolent lifestyle, that is respecting our lives, then we will beget life and our lives will be spared. And nature will restore the balance and repair our damages. I wish to see that day soon in my lifetime. The more vegetarian people join the circle, the more chance we have to save the planet.
Be veg, go green, save the planet. For more urgent details, please visit suprememastertv.com/SOS.
Con esto concluimos el programa de la conferencia que hemos preparado para ustedes con mucho amor y de seguro creemos que ustedes ya son personas diferentes que han captado el mensaje de la Maestra Suprema清海y en la solución más rápida y efectiva para mitigar toda esta problemática que estamos enfrentando. La solución que la Maestra brindó es simplemente para recuperar los hábitats perdidos y transformar este mundo en el paraíso que tanto deseamos. Agradecemos su sincera atención y su respetuosa presencia hoy aquí. Concluimos esta conferencia reiterando nuestro compromiso con el planeta. Por favor, repitamos juntos. Sé vegetariano, sé ecológico, salva al planeta. Sé vegetariano, sé ecológico, salva al planeta. Que la gracia de Dios bendiga nuestros esfuerzos de salvar este hermoso planeta.
Bueno, definitivamente es una conferencia muy interesante, tiene datos sólidos y duros y muy fuertes que creo que generan una gran sensibilización en la gente, una gran concientización. Es una conferencia en la que podemos apreciar las causas del problema, pero en la que también de alguna forma se ofrece la solución y creo que esa es la parte importante, ¿no? La proactividad. Entiendo que tiene que ver con los cambios de hábitos, ¿no? Y es lo que he tratado de hacer. Probablemente sea un granito el que estoy aportando, pero estoy seguro que si todos lo hacemos, esos granitos pueden significar metafóricamente toda una playa de acciones, ¿no? Para mitigar esos efectos del cambio climático. Sé de por sí que, bueno, la carne, independientemente de las cuestiones de salud, pues tiene mucho que ver con el impacto ambiental, pero no lo sabía a tal grado, y si poco consumo la carne roja, pues creo que ahora lo voy a hacer menos porque me ha sensibilizado bastante y me parece que una posición como la que ella tiene ahora es la aspiración de cualquier ambientalista de poder ser un agente de cambio y dejar una huella en la humanidad y un mensaje tan importante que puede cambiar el futuro y la vida del planeta. Maestra清海, hola, espero que esté muy bien, la felicito. Mi nombre es Juan Carlos Cervantes, del estado de Veracruz, de México, y apoyo su mensaje, estoy con usted y vamos a trabajar para que esto sea cada vez más grande.
Tenemos que cambiar desde el principio los hábitos alimenticios, ya que Veracruz es uno de los mayores productores de carne, tenemos que dar un enfoque a ese cambio que va a ser de beneficio para el Estado.
Por lo que veo, ¿usted estaría de acuerdo en tratar de implementar una dieta vegetariana o disminuir el consumo de carne?
Sí, estoy de acuerdo, porque primero tenemos que darnos cuenta en el aprovechamiento, en el bienestar, tanto empezando en casa como familiar, estatal, y así poder ayudar al mundo, ¿no?
¿Alguna pregunta que usted le quisiera hacer a la Maestra Suprema清海?
Me gustaría que nos diera una luz, un momento de iluminación a todo el Estado, porque sabemos que estamos en un gran riesgo, para poder tener la fortaleza de ese cambio, de esa mentalidad, de hacer solamente a la ayuda que empezamos en casa y así seguir mundialmente.
Thank you for joining us today on Words of Wisdom. Join us again tomorrow for part 3 of Let's Make the Change, Protect the Environment. And now, please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for Golden Age technology coming up next, right after Noteworthy News. Farewell and God bless.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/WOW